Hello, beautiful, and welcome to this episode all about hydration on Vagina Truth Bomb, the podcast. So, before we begin, if you are able to, if you have it available to you when you are listening to this, grab yourself a drink. Put the kettle on, grab some water, get some fluids, and get yourself hydrated whilst we talk about hydration. Because this is what we do, ladies. We multitask because we are amazing. Okay, so I've got my water here, as always. I've actually got my water and a cup of tea because I always have at least two drinks on the go. But anyway, let me introduce myself to anybody who is new. Hello, welcome to my world. So delighted to have you here. I'm Amy. I'm the founder of Vagina Truth Bomb, which I call VTB for short, and I'm your friendly women's health and wellbeing mentor. I am here to provide you with a more informed and positive narrative to all things related to women's health, and I use the VTB 5 Foundations of Health and Wellbeing, which are the body, emotions, environments, connections, blueprints, to provide a super holistic and effective way of addressing your health and wellbeing challenges. You can find out more about me at vaginatruthbomb.com, as well as everything that I offer. Okay, so I am going to officially start this episode with a Vagina Truth Bomb drop. And this kind of comes in two parts. So, my Vagina Truth Bomb drop for this episode is that sadly, many humans are dehydrated. So, that's the first part. And then the second bit I've got in brackets afterwards. Despite drinking plenty of fluids. Okay, so we have this occurrence where, and I see this a lot with my clients in particular, because obviously I'm having in-depth conversations with them about their fluid intake, who are dehydrated without knowing it. And on occasions, they can be drinking plenty of fluids, yet their body is still not hydrating itself adequately. So, this is the first of at least 2 episodes that I'm going to be doing on hydration, because I really want to give the time and space to this topic because it's such an important one. And although I know it's really not a sexy topic, like I don't think any of the topics I talk about are sexy, but it is so important that we get these foundational pieces right. Because if we're not hydrated, then we're not going to be able to get the body, supported in its own healing and function. So, in this episode, what I am going to be doing is discussing hydration and dehydration in relation to the VTB 5 Foundations of Health and Wellbeing. I'm going to be explaining why hydration is so important and also discussing the symptoms of dehydration and the possible causes to it. So, this is what I'm focusing on in this episode, and then in future episodes, I'll get more into the solutions and what we can be doing to support ourselves. Okay, so I cannot emphasize enough the importance of hydration when it comes to your body. Your beautiful, amazing, powerful body needs to be adequately hydrated in order to do what she does and do it well. And the statistics are that the human body, and a lot of the research, as with everything to do with health, is done on men, which is really not helpful. But the average, the research says on average that we are between 60 and 70% water in our bodies. So we know that keeping ourselves hydrated is really, really important. Now, I want to talk about the lymphatic system. And I know you'll all be like, oh, surprise, surprise. Amy's going on about the lymphatic system again. But yes, I am, because the lymphatic system is amazing. She's a really big deal, and we all need to be caring for our lymphatic systems and being aware of them. So, if you've not heard of the lymphatic system before, do not panic. You can check out my other podcasts, or you can pop over to my website, vaginatruthbomb.com, and check out my Lymph, Laugh, Love program. Now, this is probably the best value for money lymph self-care education program out there. And the first module is absolutely free for you to access. So you can go and watch that and get to know a little bit more about the lymphatic system. But for the sake of this episode, what you need to know about the lymphatic system is that she is a significant part of your immune system and is part of your body's, well, it is your body's detoxification pathway. It is responsible for removing toxins, waste, inflammation, fungi, parasites, all of the stuff that your body does not need. The lymphatic system, when it's working well, removes it from the body. So you can see how important it is for our overall health for this system to be running adequately. Now, there's a few facts that I've got here about the lymphatic system. The first one is that the word lymph actually originates from the Latin word lympha, which translated into water or water goddess. So there's some evidence here that we have known for a long time the value of water in our bodies and specifically in our lymphatic system. Now, your body holds around about 15 litres of lymph in total, and you're approximately replenishing around about 3 litres a day. On a daily basis, you are replenishing 3 litres of lymph. So again, we need to keep ourselves hydrated in order for our lymphatic system to function adequately. So there's evidence here as to why the lymphatic system, why water hydration is so important to just looking at the lymphatic system. Okay, we're looking at the body. Just by focusing on the lymphatic system, we can see if we are not adequately hydrated, our lymphatic system isn't working optimally, which means that the body isn't able to remove the gunk, the waste, all of the bad stuff from it. And what happens when it doesn't do that? We get a buildup of inflammation, of toxins in the body, and then we end up with autoimmune conditions, chronic pain conditions, symptoms. Okay, really important, therefore, that the lymphatic system is kept healthy. So I've just focused on the lymphatic system there, but we know that the body is an ecosystem. Everything in it works together. No system in the body ever works alone, ever heals alone, or ever gets injured alone. So it's really important that we understand that if we are looking after our lymphatic system by keeping hydrated, the rest of our body is going to benefit from it as well. And the reality is that there is not a single cell in your body that does not need to be adequately hydrated in order to function well. So hopefully you can see the value of hydration just by looking at the lymphatic system. So let's look at the symptoms, potential symptoms that we can see when we get dehydrated. Now, some of these are really obvious. We feel thirsty. So the body is really clever and it gives us symptoms and signals that something is wrong. So when we feel thirsty or when we've got a dry mouth, that's a really clear, straightforward signal from the body that it's time to hydrate. You need to have a drink. That's as clearer message as you're going to get from your body. Some other signs of dehydration are getting a headache. This is quite a common one. People will say, if someone says, oh, I've got a headache, I'm getting a headache, it is quite common for people to say, have you drunk enough? Could that be what's causing it? So getting a headache, having fatigue, feeling tired. Again, if we're not hydrating ourselves adequately, then we can get fatigue. We can also get changes in our urine. So we go to the toilet less frequently because we're not putting as much fluid in as we need. Sometimes that isn't always the case. Sometimes we can be, as I say, drinking a lot, urinating a lot, and not actually hydrating ourselves. And a change in smell and colour of the urine as well. And I've actually found a really helpful urine colour chart that I'm going to put in the Vagina Truth Bomb Telegram group. So anybody who is in there, everybody is welcome. Just pop over to my website, vaginatruthbomb.com, and you can join there. So I'm going to put a few additional resources in there, as I always do. So yeah, I found a really nice colour chart that shows you the colour that your urine should be. So in general, obviously things like medications and diet can impact the colour of your urine, but the general rule is the darker the urine, the more dehydrated you are. Okay, so changes in urine are obviously linked to dehydration as well. We can also see changes in our skin. If you lots and lots of people have dehydrated skin because they're not nourishing it enough. And I'm a Tropic ambassador, and one of our biggest selling products is our hydrating rainforest dew serum, because so many people have dehydrated skin and they are struggling with different aspects, whatever it may be, with their skin. And the reality is that they're not hydrated enough. So hydrating yourself with fluids is obviously going to help supplement then hydrating with really good quality, clean ingredients, serums, such as the Tropic one. So let's explore some of the reasons why we can become dehydrated in respect to the VTB5 Foundations of Health and Wellbeing. We've talked about the body actually not giving the body enough fluids, obviously is going to make us hydrated, or dehydrated, should I say. But I want to discuss connection and environment together in this segment, because the connection we have with our bodies is really, really important. And a lot of us are really disassociated from our bodies because of the world that we live in. And I talk about this a lot. The environment that we live in, the society, the pressures, the the way that we live our lives asks us to look out of ourselves a lot. We are living in a really technical age where spending time just connecting to our bodies, listening to our bodies, is overlooked, distracted by the fast pace of life that we live. And I'm just going to give you a couple of examples as to what I mean by this. So we've already talked about how when you increase hydration, when you increase your input of fluids into the body, you are then increasing the elimination. So you're increasing the amount of times you go for a wee, basically. And this can become a problem to us for a number of different reasons. So the most obvious one is that when we need to go to the toilet more, that can be really inconvenient for us. If we are busy, if we do not have the opportunity to go to the toilet, and this is the reality for a lot of people. If you think of a lot of different jobs that people do where they cannot get to a toilet for a number of different reasons. From my own experience, I'm thinking of if you're working in childcare, if you're a teacher, you can't leave children unattended. I suppose it's the same if you're like a prison officer or something like that. You cannot just go to the toilet whenever your body needs to go to the toilet. So we stop listening to our body when she tells us that we need to go to the toilet because it's not convenient, because it's not always available to us. Not only is it not always available to us on a practical level, as in we can't physically get to a toilet, but sometimes, the toilet option that's available isn't that nice. Now, public toilets can be quite unpleasant and not a nice place to go, or you might have to pay to get in and you haven't got cash, or whatever the reason is, especially for women, queuing for the toilet, all of those things. Yeah. So getting to the toilet, I'm going to do a completely different episode around toilet stuff because, again, this is a really big environmental piece that people don't think about, that's affecting their health hugely. So yeah, not being able to get to the toilet, not being it being an unpleasant or uncomfortable experience again. So when that's the reality for us, and this has definitely been the reality for me before, I went self-employed. I'm based at home a lot now, so I have access to drinks, I have access to a nice toilet. But when this is the reality for people, that they can't get to the toilet or just go whenever's convenient for them, we, number one, we can consciously or subconsciously reduce the amount of fluids that we are taking in to reduce the need to go to the toilet. Or number two, we hold it in and ignore the body's communication of, I need to go to the toilet. And not actually honouring the body and going to the toilet when we need the toilet. We hold it in, and that has other health implications as well. So the first piece is around the practicalities of going to the toilet. The second piece is, looking at that connection and environment pieces, is poor bladder control and the possible embarrassment, discomfort, shame around this. And this is a really big issue. A lot of women struggle with poor bladder control. And I just want to say right here, right now, we are told the narrative that it is normal, it is to be expected that women will have leaks, have poor bladder control following childbirth, following surgery, and it's not something you have to live with. It is something that can be resolved. It's something I can help you with. So please do not believe that narrative that it is just what everybody goes through, because that is bullshit. Okay. But if you are somebody who struggles with poor bladder control, this is again another reason, consciously or subconsciously, why you may reduce your fluid intake, because it's not pleasant, is it? And depending on where you are and what you're doing, subconsciously, consciously, we can be just thinking, oh, I won't have that cup of tea, or I won't drink that bottle of water because I'm worried that I might have an accident and I might smell, or someone might see, I might be uncomfortable, I might get sore, all of the things that are really real, that women are experiencing. And again, there's no shame around this, ladies. There's no need for this to be a taboo subject. There's no need for you to feel any embarrassment or shame around it, because as I've said, we've been taught this awful narrative that it's just something we have to deal with, and absolutely not, you know, absolutely not. No shame at all. But it's another reason why we can be creating this connection of subconsciously not drinking or hydrating ourselves enough, or listening to our body when she's asking for hydration or when she's asking to go to the toilet. The final one that I want to talk about is any kind of pain or apprehension during or surrounding urination. So if you are somebody who suffers with reoccurring UTIs, you may have anxiety about going to the toilet in case you have a UTI. You may be somebody who has a really dry, sensitive vulva. If you're struggling with something like this, or like Lynch sclerosis, can't say that word. Oh God, I have been there. It can be so flipping painful to go to the toilet. So painful. I can remember at one point in my life, I couldn't have a wee unless I was in the shower, because it was just too painful for me to wee without the shower on me. Again, so many women are living this reality thinking, oh my God, this is me for life now. I've been told there's no like cure for this. There's no remedies or whatever. Again, BS. I can help you with that. Please don't be suffering with any of this on your own. It's the same with your reoccurring UTIs. There are things that can be done that can support you using the 5 foundations of health and well-being. So please don't suffer in silence. Reach out. Okay, so you can see here how when we think of going to the toilet, when we think of hydrating ourselves in this more holistic way of looking at that connection between the body and possibly ignoring the fact that we need to have a drink because it might be uncomfortable for us to go to the toilet, or it might cause us to have an accident, or we might not be able to get to the toilet, whatever it is. Again, you can flip this round and look at the other end of how inconvenient it can be to get a drink sometimes. Again, going back to our environments and especially the work culture that we have in this country, actually being able to take time to have a drink, hydrate ourselves, can be difficult. So it could be that we are subconsciously telling ourselves to drink less or to go to the toilet less, and the two are linked. Okay, so let's look more at the second part of my Vagina Truth Bomb drop, which is that you're dehydrated despite the fact that you are drinking plenty of fluids. And when I say you, I'm talking about the general, not you personally. This may be your truth, it may not be. But again, this is something that I see a lot with my clients. They are really looking at their health in a holistic way with me. And when we talk about hydration, they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. I drink loads. Yeah, that's not a problem. But then when we dive into the conversation of what are you drinking? When are you drinking it? You know, this is when it starts to get interesting. Because the reality is there is so much stuff out there that is sold to us as drinks, as hydration, that isn't actually hydrating our bodies much at all. And again, I want to talk about connections and environments here as well, because It's all interlinked. Now, the issue is that we tend to not be drinking the right type of fluids. And therefore, we're consuming a lot of things that contain high caffeine content, high sugar content, alcohol, artificial sweeteners. And these are toxins to the body. These are things that your lymphatic system is trying to remove. So if you are hydrating yourself with these products, with these ingredients, these fluids, they're not hydrating the body efficiently. And in some cases, they can be giving the body a lot more hard work to do than the benefits of hydration would. And excuse me, the reality is it can be really hard to make the right choices because we live in an environment where we have huge corporate brands impacting and influencing our lives in really significant ways. And they are marketing us these drinks, and they're really, really good at it. They're really good at sharing with us the potential health benefits, even though some of them are severely limited and sometimes non existent. And not only the health benefits, but more so the image of that product, the image of that drink, the lifestyle image of their products. They're really clever. They use really clever marketing techniques. They've got really attractive people. You see a lot of sports professionals, actors, models, advertising drinks all the time, whether it's coffee, whether it's soda, whether it's like alcohol. The the advertising comes with this image of, you know, this is what you're going to be like. This is how it's going to be for you if you drink this drink. It's a really, um, drink that's going to impact your lifestyle more than it's going to impact your health and your hydration. And they're really good at making catchy slogans and songs and all of the things. And yeah, like they're so, so good at it that we consume these drinks because they are marketed to us so cleverly and they're really readily available as well. Like all of the crappy drinks are available in the bulk of shops as well. When I'm out and about, I really struggle to find a drink on the go um, that I would class as hydrating. But I'm going to talk in the next episode about like practical solutions and stuff, so I won't go too much into that. So overall, it's really easy for us to make the wrong choices because we have been programmed by this consumerist society that we live in to purchase certain products because they sell us this lifestyle image rather than selling us something that is actually of like nutritional, hydrational value to us. And it's so hard because they're so flipping clever. Like they're targeting drinks adverts at young children as well, like certain drinks that are being advertised at young children. And the adverts, I can remember when I was younger, I don't even know if it's still like legal now, but there was there was a drink called Sunny Delight, which was like an orange drink, and that their advertising was just aimed at kids. And I can remember, you know, asking my mum to buy some Sunny D, get some Sunny Delight, and my mum was like, "No, I'm not buying that." And then when I drank it at someone else's house, I was like, "Oh, this is why I don't have this drink because it makes me feel horrendous." Um, yeah, but it's the marketing, like corporate world, so clever at in so many different aspects of taking our attention away from what we actually what is important. And what is important when you're having a drink is that it's hydrating you. The majority of the time, I'm not saying that you can't enjoy a drink for pleasure rather than for hydration. But like with everything, it should be the majority of the time you're drinking something that is actually going to hydrate you. So your body has a chance at getting and remaining hydrated. And this is where we need to look differently at what we are drinking. And caffeine is a huge one because there's so many. I'm laughing because this was me. This was so me. I would be drinking so many cups of tea a day and thinking, oh, I'm keeping really hydrated, and not realizing the impact the caffeine was having on my body. I'm now caffeine free and I have been for a good number of years. But just that example of, oh, yeah, I drink, I have this conversation a lot with people. Yep, I drink a lot. I'm having X amounts of cups of tea or coffee a day, and I'm having X, Y, and Z. And the reality is that the amount of caffeine, sugar, whatever in what they're drinking, they're not actually hydrating themselves enough. And what I'm all about at Vagina Truth Bomb is making it simple. If you're going to the effort of getting a drink, having a drink, make it one that's going to hydrate you and is going to benefit you. And this is what I'm going to talk about in my next episode about hydration, about being clever about what you drink and how you drink. So you're not only hydrating yourself, but you're also supporting your body in other ways as well. So I'm really excited to dive into that episode with you. So I hope that this episode has opened your eyes a little bit to hydration and how important it is, and potentially made you explore your own hydration habits, what it is that you're drinking, how much of it you're drinking, what times of the day you're drinking it, whether you are potentially falling into that, shiny lifestyle, the moth around the light bulb of the fantastic lifestyle that this drink that I'm buying has sold me, rather than is it actually hydrating me? Is it doing what I need it to do in order for me to have a healthy body? And also explore your relationship between your your body around hydration. Do you acknowledge, do you listen to your body when she needs a drink? Or is it that you get to 6 o'clock at night and you're making tea and you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't had a drink all day? Because I've been there. Like I judge no one with these podcasts. I hope everyone knows that, because a lot of what I'm talking about, I'm guilty of or have been guilty of myself. Um, and the other one I really want you to consider as well is, are you actually listening to your body when she needs to go to the toilet? Do you think, oh, I need the toilet, but I'll just finish this task. And then that task takes you to 10 other tasks, and then you forget how much you need the toilet until it's painful for you. Because again, this is something else that I've done. I've ignored and ignored and ignored, and then my tummy hurts when I'm weeing because I've held it in so long. I've just like, my body's like, oh my gosh, listen to me, Amy, go to the toilet. Um, yeah, so I'd really, really encourage you to just think about this, discussion that we've had, how it's impacting you, what you can maybe do to help yourself to start to create a better relationship with your bladder, with your body, with needing hydration, and to listen more. And if you join I have a community which is on Telegram and also on my website. So you can join either or both. Well, when you sign up, you get put into both. But if you don't want to be on Telegram, you can have it on my website as well. And in there, I share with you all of the additional information surrounding these podcasts. So for this episode, I've already mentioned, excuse me, I've already mentioned that I'm going to put the urine colour chart in there. I think I'm going to come up with some journaling and pondering prompts for you as well to really think about what we've discussed in this episode. And in the next episode, I'm going to be talking, as I said, about the more practical solutions to getting yourself hydrated and doing it in a way that is really supportive of your body. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful friend. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and sharing this episode. It is such, I just love it that you've taken time out of your day to listen to this and to help yourself to become more informed and more positive about your health and your well-being, celebrating you. And I really want to ask you if there's anybody in your life who you think would benefit from listening to this episode. If you could share it with them, that would be amazing. And if you're somebody who has been sent this by a friend or family member, then oh my goodness, how loved are you to be given that gift from someone, for someone to want to help you to improve your health and well-being. And yeah, how wonderful is that? Celebrating that as well. So I will see you in the next episode. Between now and then, if you want to come and hang out in the community, you can do so. You can also find out more about my mentoring. I do one-to-one mentoring and obviously the Lymph Laugh Love program. All of it is available on my website, Vagina Truth Bomb, the podcast. And if you would listen, you've already listened. If you would like, notify, share this on the platform, comments that you're listening on, it really helps me to reach more people, and I would really appreciate that. So if you want to subscribe to wherever you're listening, give it a like if that's available, drop a comment, share it on Instagram or Facebook, wherever. I would hugely, hugely appreciate that. But as for now, I am going to send you so much love, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Lots of love. Bye.